In this tutorial, we're going to take a Photoshop file. We're going to slice this up so you understand how to get from a Photoshop file to any kind of layout that you're going to do. So this is a summer camps in British Columbia. I thought I'd add some international flavor to our course. This is a design I made for a landing page for a camp up in Canada, obviously. I've taken all of the identifying information out, so it's pretty generic. And we're going to just slice this puppy up, and I'll show you how to get all of the elements you need for your Joomla template. As you'll notice down here on the right, we have a bunch of layers. They're all sorted into folders. Let me encourage you to do that. There's nothing worse I get from a designer every once in a while than every single element strewn all the way down with no names, just layer this or layer that, no folders that combine elements on the page. Drives you crazy. If you get a PSD like that from your designer, send it back and say, organize this please. That's rant number 1. Sorry about that. All right, so we've got this and I created it. If there's anything wrong in it, it's all on me. We've got our header information, and to get rid of some of this, I can just click the little eye icon, our sponsorship information, our text information on the left, our slideshow, our text information there, and our backgrounds, and our rollovers. The intention of this design is that each time a person rolls over one of these words, an image will pop up like that. And I'll show you that in the final product once we're done. All right, so once you've got your Photoshop file ready to go, slicing begins. And to do that, you have to hide certain elements on the page so you can get just the things you need. First of all, let's get the background. Now with this particular design, the background is a gradient from this blue to white. So that's actually going to be pretty simple to do, because all we need to do is grab a thin slice of this and in our CSS repeat it infinitely on the x-axis, and our background of our body will be white. So let's grab our slice tool, and to do that we press capital C or just come over here and click slice tool. Go to the edge of your image. The nice thing with CS4 is those little guidelines that pop up, and you can turn those off. But here I've got now slice number 1, and it's not a large file at all. Let's take a look at it. It's layout _01, and I can rename that if I want. It's 16 pixels wide and 700 pixels high. So we know that the background of our main page, the main section of our page, is going to be 700 pixels high. Now I can fill in all of this information if I want, but because this is a background image, I'm not going to worry so much about alt tags and other things like that. So I have my background image ready to go. Next thing I need is this large image that will go behind my wrapper. So I'm going to hide all of the non-related stuff. And actually I want to get rid of that too. And now I have just my background image. This is a beautiful shot. This is the coast of British Columbia. And don't you want to just move there right now? You might want to right now, but in the middle of the winter or the rainy season wouldn't be so much fun at all. So we've got our background image, but now I know that there's going to be some elements on this page that aren't going to change. One of those is going to be my header. So I can actually keep all of that in. That's not changing on any of the pages. What else isn't changing is this white section here. Now the text is just filler text. I would never put text in an image like this, so I'm just going to hide that text. We're going to fit that in later with our content. Back to the header for just a minute. Normally you wouldn't do this. Normally you would have your header information completely separate from your background so that you can make it into a link. I'm going to show you a little bit of a different way with transparent PNGs later on as well. So now we've got exactly what we need for our background. So it's time to slice this up. Again, grab your slice key and take it right to just exactly what you need for the image itself. Now you may not be sure because this is a little bit big. So when I'm at Mac, you press the Command plus key to zoom in. And we're going to just double check that this is right to the edge of our picture. So I've got my slice 1 here for my background. Slice 3 is for my wrapper background. And actually now I'm ready to export just these images. On the Mac, it's Shift Option Command S, or in the menu, go ahead and click the File, Save for Web Devices. A couple of things here. Anything that needs any transparency to it needs to be either a GIF or a PNG, but files that don't need any transparency should be JPEGs, because JPEG tends to compress it better. I usually use a quality of 60, which is high, but in the case of a background image like this, I sometimes use medium. You're just going to have to plan and try it on your own, but you can play with these to see the different file sizes, and you can see the file size down here. If I click on just that slice, slice number 1, it's going to show me that this is a 568-bit image. If I put that at maximum, it's going to be 1.36K. Now that doesn't seem like much, but trust me, you want to keep your pages as small as possible. So I'm going to leave this at high. If I click on the summer camps one, it's at medium. Now there are a couple of things here. If I had left this text off, I could probably get away with this at medium because it's a pretty large image. But at medium, it's not too bad. If we click on maximum, you'll see that the resolution of the text is better. So let's leave this at high. And it's about a 100 kilobyte background image, which is pretty big. At medium, it's a 49 kilobyte image. Let's leave it at medium. When I click Save, it's going to present me with where to save this. Images are always saved in their own folders. So let's go ahead and create this BC template as a folder. I'm going to leave the name as layout, and Photoshop will give me a layout 01, layout 02, and in this case, layout 03.jpg. I'm only going to do the images. Again, when you're doing a Joomla template, the Photoshop sends it all out as tables, and it's basically useless. But we'll do it anyway. And we'll say all slices. This will give us an idea of what this will do. So if we go and look at these files and double click on layout.html, this is what we'll get. Actually, that's not too shabby. Here's the image we will use all the way across. Here's our background image for our wrapper div. And you'll notice that the text, of course, is part of the image, so it's not highlightable or movable or anything like that. If we look at the code underneath, everything's in tables. It gives us the width and the height, doesn't fill in the alt tag. Now if we had completed the alt tag in Photoshop, Photoshop would have provided us with the alt tag. I rarely do this way because again, I'm creating a Joomla template. I'm not creating an HTML template necessarily. But you get the idea. So that's slicing up your background image. In the next tutorial, we're going to start looking at how to grab just the portions of the screen that you need for each individual div in your layout. We'll see you then.